that was an image to me that I like was the definition of cool. And I think Will Smith in this movie is the definition of 90s cool.
Oh, easily, yeah. And I think just like you said, as far as playing with this age, because I was what 15, 16 at this time, 15.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you don't play. You're not playing, with your friends in the backyard and doing stuff like you would when you were younger. So now you just gotta take matters into your own hands, like you said. You gotta act out these things by yourself and not tell anyone about them. But at the same time, I do remember this being a time when I really wanted silk shirts as well.
Yeah.
And I do not.
I'm so glad you mentioned silk shirts.
I did not have the shoulders for it then, and I really don't either still. Like, my body is just one of those bodies that doesn't work well with silk. Luckily, that phase is past. But yeah.
Well, don't put it past you. It takes a lot to pull off a silk shirt. Now, there are two times where a silk shirt has influenced what I thought coolness was. One was Bad Boys, when Will Smith, which apparently in that scene, he was supposed to do it shirtless, but he was like, let me put a shirt up, at least halfway on. Will Smith being modest. And the other one was, and as I think back, I don't know if it was a silk shirt, but I always pictured it as a silk shirt, was Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing.
Okay, yeah.
You know that last scene when he's dressed in all black and he has that black button up on and he's dancing down the fucking aisle like a god?
Yeah.
I thought that was a silk shirt, so I tried to get that silk shirt. And one of the very first times I went on a date, it was a mom-driven date to the movies. I believe the woman's name was Amanda Drew. Probably an awkward date. I don't even remember what we went to see. Probably Hope Floats or some shit. Probably was that first time.
Oh, for the first. I was about to say for the fifth time. Yeah.
But whatever movie it was, you're nervous on these dates, and I remember I finally worked up the courage to hold hands or something like that, and I didn't want to move because I would have to remove my hand from her hand, and
you got to go through the whole procedure again.
Yeah. I couldn't reattach, so I had to hold on. And so for I guess an hour and 45 minutes, I'm just awkwardly sort of leaning on my side. But when I moved, I had sweat through the entire left side of this silk shirt. So it was just sticky mess on me after that.
Just kidney failure, renal glands.
Yeah,
just
it felt like it. 12-year-old Adam was in a bind, or however, whatever age that was. But
isn't that funny though? And that just reminds me of just that whole build up to the holding hands, barely touching elbows, barely touching forearms, then sharing the armrest, and then maybe a finger touch on a finger, and it's that whole build up. But once docking has occurred, you don't want to go back and try to do it all over again. You can't go get something to eat. You can't go to the bathroom. You're absolutely right.
No. Yeah, you're stuck. You've made a commitment, and you have to follow through. I'm so glad you brought up silk shirts because it's something that I would have thought was so specific to me, but I'm glad I have a friend in the silk shirt business there, Marcus.
You always will. Dillard's will always be among us. Dillard's and Mervin's were my silk shirt go-tos.
So you did eventually buy them. You had a few?
Oh, yeah. I didn't let my body figure stop me. I didn't let people's doubts stop me. I bought two, and one of them I am wearing in my junior high yearbook photo. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's big.
It's just like a
Do you have access to that?
I do. And I'll post a picture of it. Yeah.
We should absolutely. Silk shirts unite. I wish I had one of me.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what got me in the Too Short crew.
They said, look at this man. Yeah. You busted open your school doors. Everything went in slow motion.
Yeah.
You walked out and all these people's jaws dropped. So as I said, April 7th, 3 days before my birthday, 1995, Bad Boys was released. A $19 million budget by Sony Pictures, distributed by Sony Pictures, produced by the legendary production team of Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson. Big balls of Hollywood, especially in this time. We're talking movies like The Rock, and what else, Mark?
Maybe you've heard of it. Top Gun.
Jeez.
Enemy of the State.
Woo!
Adam,
another Will Smith.
When you win a day of NASCAR, what do you turn to? What movie do you turn to?
Oh, I don't even watch NASCAR because I don't understand it, but I understand the love and passion that Cole Trickle feels
Oh,
in Days of Thunder.
man, is there any better racer out there? God, no, there's
I
not.
don't, I don't think there is.
Maybe his
But
father until he hit that wall, but that's about it.
I have a Days of Thunder complete in-box Nintendo game and a Days of Thunder lunchbox. So a lot of people say Top Gun is the first summer blockbuster.
Right.
And by, like the modern blockbuster, the modern summer blockbuster started with Top Gun. The way in which movies are marketed, the way we just attach a top star to it, we release it in the summer, we make it popcorn movie style, and we go. I think there are movies you would probably say, well, there's movies that have done that before. I think there are, but I think they did it with this intent to do it this way. And now, and since then, movies have copied Top Gun. I mean, I see a lot of Top Gun in Bad Boys, you know.
Sure. And I mean, just a year, what? I think it was a year after this that it was released, too, that didn't Don Simpson pass in 96, I think it was?
Yep.
As well,
There's
yeah.
conspiracy theories that it was
yeah.
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah, yep.
That Jerry Bruckheimer spiked his drugs because Don Simpson did suffer with the addiction. He was a party man, you know, but I guess if you're the king of Hollywood, I get it, you know.
Yeah.
And the hits kept on coming with 1995's Bad Boys. And this movie was released in April, as I said, which April of 1995 is responsible for like half of my DVD collection.
I was about to say, and I definitely wanted to get into that. I mean, you got Goofy Movie.
Oh, which is my third in my top three personal favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
The Goofy Movie. It's my favorite Disney movie for sure. But yeah, so that was a big one for me. I saw Goofy Movie 3 times in the movie theaters. So maybe I did see Bad Boys in the theaters. I just have more vivid memories of watching it at home.
You have Three Ninjas Knuckle Up. I don't know where that rates on your Three Ninjas scale, but you got that coming up.
I don't want to get too much into that specific part of Three Ninjas because it's pretty interesting, and I want to save it when we do an entire month dedicated to one episode of Three Ninjas. Mm-hmm. But Three Ninjas Knuckle Up was a straight to VHS release.
Okay.
And it didn't get a movie release. If it did, it was very limited. But you have, in April 26th, Friday, I saw that movie at the Dollar Theater with my friend. And that Dollar Theater was always, but I mean, I say it ended up, but it was always behind my high school girlfriend's house. I just didn't know she would be my girlfriend then.
Okay.
So there you go.
Nice.
While you were sleeping, fun little rom-com.
Yeah, love it. Is that the one where he goes into a coma and then the husband goes into a coma? Yeah.
And, a pretty big one here in its own right. Basketball Diaries, April 21st, 1995. I mean, what a month. And maybe one Marcus liked, Village of the Damned. And there's a epic, grand love story, period piece called Rob Roy with Neeson. Did you ever see that?
I never saw Rob Roy, no.
Yeah, my mom rented it.
I could see her just wanting to get whisked away. She's mad at the old man for a night, so she just needs to get. Yeah. She needs to get Neeson, and that's.
Yeah, she's like, I got my fucking teenager son just running around the house in circles with his shirt undone. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing.
Just borrowing my silk tops and just running around the house.
Yeah, not too far off. And so released in a great month for movies. I own 5 of these on DVD, so good for me. I want to look at the May 1995 movies too, because they're pretty big as well. This is just a major year. Just start off slow. You got French Kiss. You got, speaking of the devil, Crimson Tide. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Johnny Mnemonic. A little film called Braveheart. Casper. And The Bridges of Madison fucking County, the greatest action movie of all time. No, but it's, what a time, man. 95. Give it up. But we're here to talk about Bad Boys. Now, Bad Boys was made, as I said, with a budget of about $19 million, but that number has been disputed by Michael Bay himself. Michael Bay, also in the director's commentary to this film, claims they had no money to make this film, basically. Everything he wanted to do was like, I didn't have the money to do it. We didn't have the money to do it. You know, did you read about that?
I did, where like $200,000 of his salary was put into other actors for their overtime that they had to do for reshoots and other stuff too. I mean, not 200,000, but it was like $20,000 out of his pocket that had to go into overtime shoots and stuff. But yeah, where he had to shoot. Yeah.
And then when they finally finished it, like 4 scenes were added because they wanted to take advantage of what they had and the lightning in a bottle, like you said, of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. So that original opening scene was added after the original film was done.
And what a great opening scene, man.
Oh, Marcus. I loved this scene.
It is. Let's save it for when we talk. Let's save it for when we talk.
You're right. Let's talk more about the background of this film. Yeah. So what else? We have, as I said, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, pretty huge TV stars at this point.
Yeah.
And this film was originally written for some odd people. You sort of got into this. Was it written for the 2 people we're about to say, or was it like written and then they became attached to it?
It was written for them. It was written for them.
Insane.
Yep. Jon Lovitz and David Spade.
Now, obviously, it wasn't the same script that Martin Lawrence and Will Smith had, but the story seemed... I mean, from what I can read, it seems pretty much the same.
As far as I can tell, I think it was close to it, but it was also, I think the title was Bulletproof Hearts. The running title when they were attached to it was Bulletproof Hearts. And, you know, they did, after a time, I think it was Bruckheimer who was just like, you know, let's go a different route with this, and we can make it they're in goddamn Miami. I mean, you can't have Spade and Lovitz running around.
Just sweaty ass chubby Lovitz. just hot. Always hot. Dude, you got it. I don't know if that was Carvey or Lovitz, but it was pretty good for both of them. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I said David Spade. I meant Dana Carvey. I said David Spade at the top. Yeah.
For some reason, I heard you say it, and in my head, I just pictured, Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dana Carvey and Jon Lovitz. So obviously, I'm sure it would have been a fun movie, but it would have been a very different movie. And I don't know how much cool factor there would have been if you get a Michael Bay slow motion rotating camera shot as Jon Lovitz rolls his ass through the smoke with a gun in his hand.
No, I think we would have gotten a Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, you know, pretty much kind of movie there and stuff too.
Beverly Hills Ninja type thing. This is kind of heady to think about, but it's the first major film direction for Michael Bay.
Yeah, he's done music videos.
Yep,
and that's
music video guy.
Meatloaf and I Touch Myself. Was that the other one? I think that was the big ones, the 2 big ones. Meatloaf and I forgot who sang that, but those are the 2 big ones. And
you mean I don't want
anybody else? The Divinyls. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. And Meatloaf's "I'd Do Anything for Love."
Which
parentheses, but I won't do that.
The craziest music video you've ever seen.
It's pretty nuts. Meatloaf is not scared. Meatloaf is not scared to wear a silk shirt. And look at him.
Meatloaf, I mean, that goes to say something about confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
But Meatloaf is this Phantom of the Opera type character who lives alone in his mansion, Beauty and the Beast style. And this woman comes in and they escape on a motorcycle because this detective wants to kill him. I don't know. It's tough to really get it understood, but I mean, he's directed for music video wise, Greg Allman, Donny Osmond, Richard Marx. You know, I'm sure we'll talk about Michael Bay again as he comes up quite a bit, so we don't need to go too much into him. But he also swears up and down he never saw a John Woo film before this, which is pretty crazy to think about, considering like a lot of shot for shot stuff, like of a Woo film.
Yeah. I believe him, though. I believe him.
He could have been seeing other filmmakers, action filmmakers who had been inspired by Woo.
Sure. Yeah.
You know? So, I could see that. He was still doing Woo.
Bruckheimer comes across to me as the kind of guy who doesn't need to lie about things, I don't think. Like Michael Bay, yeah. He comes across the kind of guy who doesn't need to lie about things.
You're right.
I think that like you said, I'm sure that he knew that he watched other directors who were inspired, but I bet you never watched it. And
Yeah.